Hi, we have a question.
Thank you for all your useful information on the book of Revelation. We really appreciate all the time and effort you put into your presentations.
You're welcome. Thank you for that.
And a question that is forefront of my mind is, who is the rider on the white horse? Sermons, articles, and different sources of information can have said that the white rider can be Jesus Christ, or Satan, or the Pope, or many other examples. So from Scripture and your perspective, could you let us know, who do you believe the rider on the white horse is?
Thank you for that question, and I understand why you're asking that question. That's a great question, and it is pivotal in understanding the book of Revelation, because it's the starting point, right? It's the first seal, and by understanding when the first seal is released, the white horse, it determines the rest. So you have the seven seals. The seventh seal releases the seven trumpets. The seventh trumpet releases the seven bowls of God's wrath. So depending on when it's released, it impacts the timeline of the rest. Another good point that you're making is also the fact of the white horse. Who's the rider on the white horse? And when I first came to the Lord, I had that question too. I remember going to a seminar on eschatology, and the professor or doctor at that time was sharing, and he said that the person on the white horse was Satan, and he gave some scriptural references, to which I took it, I trusted, because he was a well-known. I wrote down scriptural references, and I started sharing with people who the person on the white horse is, etc. And until I found someone that challenged me, or I asked them, and they said to me, it's actually Christ, to which I was shocked. I said, how much more polar opposite can you get? You have Christ and you have Satan. How can they even be close? So it's either Christ or Satan. You can't mess up the interpretation. So you need to make sure it's correct. And thought, you know what? I'm going to be judged one day, on Judgment Day, for what I share with other people. I need to make sure that whatever I'm sharing is not based on this person said it, that doctor said it, that professor said that, that amazing preacher said that. It's going to be based on the scripture. So I'm going to stand before God and I'm going to say, well, this is why I taught this based on this scripture, and says this, this, and this. Let's look at the scripture, Revelation 6 verse 1 and 2. And hopefully what I'm able to share may unpack some answers for you. So thank you for that question. In Revelation 6 verse 1, it says, and I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. So who is the rider on the white horse? And when was he released? Now, I get it. You say, well, over here, this is when he was... No, this is when he was revealed. Doesn't necessarily mean he was released. So who is the rider, and when did it happen? The rider on the white horse is Yeshua, Jesus, the Christ, the Messiah. And he was released from the foundation of the world when Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden. That's when he was released. Now, in 95 AD, John is seeing what was released right in the beginning. And I'm going to give you 7 reasons why I say the rider on the white horse is Yeshua, Jesus. So when we look at similar occurrences in the book of Revelation and across the entire scripture, in the book of Revelation, you find only 2 places the white horse is mentioned. One in reference to Yeshua riding the white horse at the end when he comes at the Armageddon to destroy the evil beast and the false prophet. So that's pretty, in itself, that should be pretty compelling. Number 2, you notice that the armies from heaven followed Yeshua riding white horses. So again, another indication that white horses is referring to good, and also that the rider on the white horse, the main horse, being Yeshua. Now, when we look at symbolism in the scripture, white always refers to being holy or clean. Never refers to evil or bad. Always holy and clean. Some may say, well, what about Satan can deceive many by being an angel of light? But please note that this is referring to light, not white. The word white in Scripture always refers to holy, just and clean. Number 4, the crown that is given unto the rider on the white horse is a Stephanos crown. It's a victory crown. And throughout Scripture, it always refers to the righteous receiving it. Those that are righteous receive this crown. Those that have overcome receive this crown. There's only one place in Scripture, which is in Revelation 9, refers to the locusts having a Stephanos crown. But notice what it says. It says that they have, as it were, a Stephanos crown. They had something looked like a Stephanos crown. It didn't say that they had a Stephanos crown. But everywhere else in Scripture, where someone received or had a Stephanos crown, it was always the righteous. Another indication that the rider is holy, just, and good. Another symbol in Revelation 6 verse 2 is the bow. And so what does that mean? Well, it's not part of my 7 reasons, but I just want to share this with you, that the bow can represent Israel, or the strength of Israel. So now if we look at the sequencing, number 5, before God does anything, before he brings his wrath on people, he always sets a way of escape, just like he did with Noah, or before he brought destruction on Sodom and Gomorrah, he removed Lot from the situation. Even the angel said, I cannot do anything unless I move you, that you go from here. And so God always sends a way of escape, sends someone to help them. And it will only make sense that Yeshua is the tangible plan of God to free people from his wrath. Number 6, notice that the rider came out with no crown, but a crown was given to him. Similarly, Yeshua came out, and he only received complete authority in heaven and on earth after his resurrection. So you can see the parallel between it, and that's my 6th point, is that the rider had no crown, but a crown was given to him. So the crown was given to him after his resurrection, which meant that the rider was around before the crown took place. And finally, number 7, the rider goes forth conquering and to conquer. Similarly, Yeshua came to conquer and establish his kingdom on the earth. Then he overcame the world, the scripture says, and then he will conquer at Armageddon and set up his reign on the earth for 1,000 years. These are 7 reasons why I believe Yeshua is the rider of the white horse. Now, there are other sequencing things I can mention. For example, if you look at the sequencing of the seals. So the 2nd seal removes peace from the earth. Now, peace from the earth has already happened from the very beginning when Cain killed Abel and Satan incited him. So it happened from the very, very beginning. Some people say, well, the peace hasn't been taken away from the earth, and one day there's no peace on the earth. We have never been in peace on this earth. Never. The second one, scarcity and deceit, has happened from the very beginning. I can't remember a century or in the scripture where there was no scarcity and no deceit. And the 4th one, that 1/4 of the earth will be killed with a sword, with hunger, with death, and with beasts of the earth. Now let's be clear. This has happened from the very beginning. There's always been famines. There's always been death. Even today, 1/4 of the earth, people are dying of hunger, dying of diseases. They're dying of beasts killing them, whether it's mosquitoes, dying of the sword. People are killing them. Abortion. 1/4 of the world today, and throughout history, people have been killed with these various plagues. So this has been in existence from the very beginning. The first 4 seals have already been released from the very foundation of the world, and these things have been in existence from the very beginning. So some personal observations I want to share with you. Well, number 1, you hear, well, this can't be in the past because Revelation 4 verse 1 says that the voice is referring to the future, that it's going to be showing John things that are going to come hereafter. So how can he be referring to the past? Okay, and that's a good question, and something that we need to think through. But let's be very clear that the whole book of Revelation is about the future. However, there are events in the book of Revelation that talks about the past. In other words, you cannot understand the future unless you see the plan that was set up from the very beginning. For example, Revelation 12 verse 1 and 5 is clearly about the past. Revelation 17 verse 10 is also about the past. Another objection that people share is Jesus is opening the seals, therefore he cannot release himself at the same time. Well, I would argue he could. He is God. But in response, I would say Yeshua, Jesus, is revealing the plan of God, which is hidden. He is not releasing anything. It's not like as if 95 AD he's releasing himself. He's revealing the plan of God to John. It's like opening up a photo album and showing John. Similarly, Daniel was not able to share. He was not allowed to share. However, Yeshua has the right to reveal it to all who would listen to him. So hopefully this has been insightful to you in some way. God bless. Bye.